Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Are you ready? Hey everybody, it's Jeff. So, heck of a week here in Maine. We get some nice weather, warmer. It was a little more humid yesterday, but not today. So it's actually, the temperature is higher, but the humidity is less today, where it was, not, the temperature wasn't as high, but it was still warm, and but the humidity was higher. So we're getting nice weather, and lots of people out enjoying it. Been hearing a lot of people blowing off fireworks, and it isn't even the 4th of July yet. I don't know if it's across the river in Brewer, or if it's, I think it's got to be over there, because see, I live near the river here on VZ, and across the river is the other town, Brewer. And the bang sounded quite a ways off, so it could have been over that. Of course, the water will carry sound quite a ways too, anyway. But anyway, it gets Smokey's attention when she hears those things going. She runs right to the window to see, because sometimes they'll shoot whatever the hell they're shooting up way up in the air, and you'll see it blowing. So I don't know, but people can't wait to get their hands on some dynamite there or whatever, and start blowing things up. That's usually what we get, but it's early still, And of course we got Memorial Day coming up here, and that usually will get people doing stuff, and So in the news, some interesting developments here. The ICC, the International Criminal Court, had issued, or is going to issue arrest warrants against, senior officials, one of which is obviously Prime Minister Netanyahu, and his, I believe his defense counsel, I guess. So him and, his defense counsel. And they're going to go after some people from the other side of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar on charges of war crimes, both of them. Okay, which I agree with. I mean, they both sides. There's no, like I said, there's no good guy in this fight. Okay, there really isn't, and both sides have committed terrible atrocities on the other. Yes, I understand who started it, but it's not really of who started it as to who started it up again, okay? Because this fight goes way back, way back before I was even born. If you really want to know who started it, you're going to have to look up history, okay? But this has been an off-again, on-again conflict in that part of the world for decades, okay? So it's never ended. It's always been people just waiting for the right moment to strike, whether Israel strikes first or the other side strikes first. It just happens. You can't really say there was ever peace. Maybe an extended ceasefire, but there was never peace declared, which is what I've been advocating for all along, is that there needs to be a push for peace in that region, not just to take one side or the other. And when President Biden stopped a shipment of weapons to go to Israel, that was a good way of expressing that we're not in favor of this extended conflict either. However, when the announcement was made about the charges and who they're going after, Biden come out and said that it was outrageous what the ICC said they were going to do. He's not in support of it. Okay? He said that there is no equivalence, none between Israel and Hamas. Okay, basically he's saying, oh, well, one's worse than the other. No, Biden, they're not. Okay, you ought to know better than any of us because you're older than we are, and you've been around long enough to see how this fight has been a back and forth that's gone on for generations. This isn't about things that just happened recently. Okay, this goes way back. Both sides have committed atrocities, and there's got to be some accountability here. I mean, what the hell do we have an international court system if we're not going to fucking prevent human atrocities? Okay, what's the whole point of that? There's people starving, children are being bombed out of their fucking homes, out of their schools, out of their hospitals. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, it's just, somebody has to stand up for these people, and, apparently Biden hasn't really made up his mind yet on what he stands on. One minute you think he's for stopping this, and now he sounds like, well, I don't think I want to, make a stand. You know why? Because he opened his mouth way back early in his administration about we're always going to stand with Israel. And he doesn't want to have to eat his words on that. Well, he should have known never to say anything like that when it concerns Israel, because Israel has always been its own thing. Okay? They've enjoyed the privilege of being allied with us for a long time, but the alliance really isn't necessary for them anymore, because they got their own weapons. They can make and produce 2,000-pound bombs. They can do all this shit on their own now. They don't need us anymore. Okay? It's been a luxury for them to have the United States backing in their corner. But most Americans don't feel that this war needs to go on. It needs to stop. Okay? And I think Biden is missing the point here. We're not asking him to stand in the way of justice being served to bring an end, or at least hold people accountable to this thing. I mean, this is a thing that's going to drag on for a long time. There's not going to be like the next day, police are going to be out looking for these people. No, that's not going to be happen. They'll issue their warrants, and how they get these guys, I don't know. Okay, I mean, the only other way I can think of is to put a bounty on their heads and have bounty hunters go into this and kidnap these people and bring them to the ICC. To me, that would be the only way you could get these people. Okay, but for the ICC, they're trying to show these countries that, a lot of countries, other than the United States, are not really in support of what you're doing. Okay, without the United States on the side of the ICC, it really makes this look less important. You see what I'm saying? Because we're a big country. We have the military might to back up anything that NATO and all these other organizations need to give them clout so the rest of the world will listen. Without the United States and without President Biden's support of what the ICC is doing here, it kind of makes this look like, a colossal waste of time, which is not what the ICC is trying to say here. They're not trying to go after people just to go after them and say, we're holding, these people over the fire. No, what we're trying to say is, they're trying to set a precedent here where leaders cannot be allowed to have wars of extermination, okay, or genocide wars, whatever you want to call it. Put whatever fucking label on it that makes you feel good, okay? Whatever it is, war is bad. Innocent people end up dead in war, okay? Nobody likes that. Nobody. I don't care what side of war you're on, whether you're for the good guys or the bad side. Nobody likes to have losses, okay? But what's happening there for the last 7-8 months is just a prolonged continuation of something that should have been resolved, at the peace table or something. but Biden offered Netanyahu a way out of it. Okay, he offered them a way out by opening up talks with Netanyahu to come to the United States and let's sit here and discuss ways we can bring an end to this shit, okay? And Netanyahu said no. In fact, he gets out and he starts slamming, oh, well, if the United States won't help us, we're going to go it alone, you know, just like we did before, you know, and he threw all the World War II veterans under the bus, okay? I'm sorry, but, if Biden can't see that this guy is already acting criminally in his methods here by ignoring, honest to goodness alternatives here that might save more lives and bring a ceasefire, then he's not interested in stopping this fight. He wants it to go on. He wants it to go on. And I've already explained why that is, why he wants this to go on. And the thing is that the other side that's, being just as vicious, and killing Israeli children and stuff like that, okay, they're not going to stop if the other side's not going to stop, vice versa. Okay, they've pretty much they've committed to going on with this. Nobody wants it to stop. I mean, nobody in the leadership anyway, but I doubt you'll hear that from the civilians that are being slaughtered in the crossfire. They all want it to stop, and they're looking for somebody to stop it. Well, I guess they can't really count on our government or Joe Biden, even though he stopped a shipment of weapons, which is really, in the bigger view of the big picture, really not much of a thing, because Israel has already got more fucking weapons, to eradicate the whole fucking coastline there, all the way up to the wherever the Palestinians are hiding out right now. I mean, he's got more than enough bombs. Okay, more than enough. And they can get more if they need more from somebody else. If not the U.S., somebody else will happily take their money and supply them with weapons. So, Biden basically kind of just shit all over the message he sent by denying them a shipment of weapons to Israel by basically shitting on the ICC. And I'm surprised he did that. I mean, I don't care that he's Democrat and that, this is an election year and he's running against a nut. If I don't agree with the president, whoever that may be, I'm going to say it. I don't agree with Biden on this. I don't think he should have said what he said. I think this required that he stands firmly beside the ICC with the United States support to deliver this message to Israel that we mean business. We want this shit to stop. We want you to stop. Okay? We want everybody to stop this fight, because it's not helping anything, and it's only going to make this go on for generation after generation more. Okay? And the ICC is the only international court that can hold crimes against humanity and war crimes. So really, I mean, it's for all these Democrat nations to have come up with this system, the ICC, in the hopes that it can help to stop bad things from happening. Okay, innocent people from getting killed. For our own president to come out and criticize what they're trying to do here, I mean, it's like, well, Jesus Christ, you mean you want this thing to stop, or don't you? I mean, it's not like these people are going to go out there and become some de facto government in the middle of all this. No, what they're trying to say here is, look, we've given Israel, we've tried to give Hamas, the Palestinian people, leadership, all the avenues that we can imagine, okay, to get them to bring a stop to this fight before things get very, very critical here, before things get so bad that, we're going to be seeing little body bags, babies killed, children killed, places that, are sanctuaries getting bombed out. I mean, their back is to the wall. They're losing this thing over there, and Israel knows this, but they're not going to stop, okay? They're not going to stop. And the only way Hamas will fight back is through terrorism, okay? Which means they're going to bomb sensitive targets, which means schools, hospitals, installations like that. They're going to do this. The only way they can fight back. And with Iran, ostensibly, helping them in whatever way that they do there, help them out. Okay. Like I said, it really kind of hit me like, whoa, this is a two, I'm not going to say an about face, but it's pretty strict, a stunning development on Biden's part to all of a sudden now come out and criticize. I mean, I thought that he got this thing going with the ICC to try to do something about it, because apparently he wasn't the only leader, that was against this thing. A whole bunch of other countries also signed on to this thing with the ICC to say we have to hold them, both sides over there, accountable for crimes against humanity. Other countries. But like I said, without the United States, it kind of loses a little of its impact, because nobody's going to take it serious if the U.S. isn't standing behind it. Not that they would have really anyway, not with Netanyahu in charge. I mean, he's obviously written the United States off, and he doesn't care what Biden thinks. So, not that it would really matter to him or the other side of the combat. That's the terrorists of Hamas, and their leadership is probably not going to care. But it does care to the rest of the countries who signed on to issuing these charges here and trying to get warrants issued to arrest these people. I don't know. It's what you call a political statement, messaging. The messaging has to be straight, has to be on spot. It can't look duplicitous. It can't look weak. If the United States sends a weak message about where we want this thing to go, then our credibility gets taken down. And I'm not sure what the hell happened, but I'm really upset, that Biden has kind of gone down this road here by not standing hand in hand with the ICC. I don't know if it has anything to do about, this being, it probably does have something to do about this being an election year and not looking like he's backpedaling something. He said, he shouldn't have to be afraid of things like that, not if he's running up against a known liar, okay, and a guy that has absolutely no business being running for president for a second time, okay? He shouldn't have to worry about, having to backtrack on a promise he made or something. Because look, nobody knows what the future brings. People can make promises and things happen and they have to break those promises. Okay? That should go without saying. Every one of us has done that. Okay? We've all made promises and then things happen and we can't honor the promise because something else came up. Okay? But Biden doesn't seem to want to do that. He doesn't seem to make it look like he's being weak here with trying to say that, they support Israel. I don't support Israel, and for a damn good reason. Okay, I'm not going to support Israel until Netanyahu is the fuck out of there and they got somebody else running Israel. Okay, Netanyahu is a bad apple. They were trying to get rid of him before that shit started over there. Do you remember that? Okay, so he was rotten to the core as before, and things are still going, and they got the wrong guy in power over there doing this. Okay, and Biden knows this, and instead of explaining it to the American people why he's going to have to back away from that promise, and tell them what this guy is and what he's doing over there, if he can't explain that to the American people and the American people can't understand that, then, something obviously wrong. Okay, but I think, he underestimates people's intelligence in this country. We can certainly understand why the president would want to take a step back away from what he said about, promising Israel that we'd always stand with them, okay? because look at the friggin' earlier this summer, look at the damn protests and all that. There's a lot of people in this country who really don't like what's happening over there. They may not understand who did what and when, you know, and all that, but they don't like to see the body count. They don't like to see the innocent people killed, okay? They want to see a stop to this thing. And, you know, Biden is it. I mean, he's the president. He's got to take a stand, you know? So anyway, let's go to commercial break. We'll be back.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me!
This is me.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Ruth McLaughlin, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This
This
is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
When you are representing the office of vice president or president, Kamala Harris dropped an F-bomb here. This is a bad pattern. It diminishes the office, and I think it turns off family audiences.
Listen, you motherfuckers.
I did try and fuck her. Grab him by the pussy.
He's a pussy.
I'm gonna bomb the shit out of him.
Bullshit impeachment.
Get that son of a bitch off the field. I moved on her like a bitch.
You motherfuckers.
Bullshit.
Fucking school built in Brooklyn.
Ridiculous bullshit.
You're not gonna raise that fucking price.
We'll beat the shit out of them.
This is a bad pattern. It diminishes the office, and I think it turns off family audiences.
Carrie Lake and Donald Trump. At first, they admitted they wanted a national abortion ban.
I don't think abortion pills should be legal.
There has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman.
Yeah, there has to be some form.
Now, they're pretending they won't back the ban if they're elected. They're lying.
This total ban on abortion is out of line with where the people of this state are.
Did Arizona go too far?
Yeah, they did, and that'll be straightened out.
I agree with President Trump. This is such a personal and private issue.
Two frauds desperately running from the truth and from their real position. She backed the ban, and he's still bragging about ending Roe.
That I was able to terminate Roe v. Wade, and I'm proud to have done it. I was so honored to have done it.
They'll ban all abortion, even to save a mother's life. They'll end IVF, and they'll ban birth control. Donald Trump and Carrie Lake, they're the same. They're dishonest, deceptive, and dangerous for every woman.
He says, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" I said, "No, no, no, other than day one." Like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you. You can do anything. Grab him by the pussy. He's not a war hero. He's a war hero. I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I wouldn't lose any voting. Very fine people on both sides.
I don't know what I said. I don't remember. I am your retribution. I am your retribution.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Write for Pollution Booklet, Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Okay, welcome back. Here's kind of here's a story here with about Rudy Giuliani here, and it's kind of funny, and I'll just read this here to you to get to the point here. This was written by the New Republic. Talia Jane wrote it. It says, Rudy Giuliani shitposted himself into an indictment Friday night as he left his 80th birthday party in Florida. The former Trump lawyer spent weeks mocking the Arizona Attorney General as he evaded receiving the subpoena for his alleged participation in a scheme to overturn the 2020 election, Rolling Stone reports. But his posts finally caught up to him. Richie Taylor, communication director from the Arizona Attorney General, told Rolling Stone authorities were able to locate Giuliani in Florida due to his constant live streams. Quote, our agents traveled to Florida on Friday. We knew he was there because of his nightly live video streams at his residence, unquote. During a Friday night birthday bash to ring in the brand new octogenarian, whose birthday is May the 28th, Giuliani posted a photo of himself surrounded by a gaggle of cookie-cutter blonde women beaming through Botox. He taunted the Arizona Attorney General, writing, quote, if Arizona authorities can't find me by tomorrow morning, number one, they must dismiss the indictment. Number two, they must concede they can't count votes, unquote. Hours later, Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays, quote, tweeted his post announcing authorities with the Arizona Attorney General's office had served Giuliani his subpoena. Quote, the final defendant was served moments ago. Nobody is above the law, unquote, Mays wrote. Giuliani seemingly attempted to evade the digital smackdown, soon deleted his post. The Attorney General screenshot it and posted it following her announcement Giuliani had been served. Quote, the agents took the opportunity to serve Giuliani when he was out at a friend's nearby house as he left his birthday party, unquote, Taylor told Rolling Stone. Ted Goodman, a spokesperson for Giuliani, confirmed to Rolling Stone that the former Mussolini of Manhattan was served and claimed, quote, he was unfazed and enjoyed an incredible evening with hundreds of people from all walks of life who love and respect him for his contributions to society. Quote, it was so goddamn irritating, unquote, an unnamed Arizona government source told Rolling Stone. Quote, we knew he'd get served eventually, but it seemed like he was playing these games just because he felt like it, unquote. Giuliani is expected to appear in Arizona court Tuesday alongside 17 co-defendants. A spokesman for Mays told AP that Giuliani is charged with felony counts of conspiracy, fraud, and forgery. Trump is listed as an unindicted co-conspirator in the case. The Arizona Attorney General's office alleges Giuliani, former Trump Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, Trump attorney Boris Epstein, and others, quote, schemed to prevent the lawful transfer of the presidency to keep unindicted co-conspirator one in office against the will of Arizona voters, unquote. At the rate Giuliani's going, he'll be celebrating his next birthday in jail. So here's another example of why you don't post shit online. You know, people can find you. They can trace where you are with this stuff, okay? He goes and makes, you know, while he's at a birthday party, basically, you know, dancing in the face of the Attorney General. You can't find me, you know, and you got, you know, one more day and then I can get away scot-free. Well, you know what? He ain't no small fry, okay? He's a big pigeon, and they've been looking for him, okay? And you know that they scour the internet. And no sooner did he start posting things online, they nailed him. They found out where he was posting from, and they sent people over there to get him, to subpoena him. Okay, now he's got to appear. And, you know, all I can say is, hey, you know, you created this mess, Giuliani. You're 80 years old, and your image, your legacy, your history, whatever you think is prideful about who you are, you've ruined it. You destroyed the whole thing. Nothing that you ever did in the past now matters, okay? Whether you were good, on the side of good or on the side of bad, it doesn't matter now. You're shit. You're trash, and you know, whoever still thinks that you're something to honor and all that, they're just kissing your ass, kissing your ring, whatever the fuck they want to do to keep in your good graces. They want something from you, okay? But you know, if they can't, you know, if they ain't gonna be able to nail Trump for anything, they're gonna nail him, okay? I really think that, because the fandom around Giuliani ain't as widespread as, say, what Trump. So if anything, he'll go down in flames before Trump will. You know, that brings me to a little side story here, that Cannes Film Festival, whatever the hell they call it, they released a movie about Donald Trump here. It's basically about his stupid show that he had going there, The Apprentice or whatever, which I think is what the name of it is. And it was released, and everybody seemed to like it. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know, because I haven't seen the film, and I don't know if the movie is about, you know, showing, you know, the shit that he did, or if this is about praising a man who managed to climb up to whatever success he thinks he got. I don't know. But the thing is that there's people already lining up to sue the people that created that movie, so I guess it doesn't put Trump in a good light. I don't know. My point is, it's too soon to tell that fucking story. Okay, and if you really want to do the story, you want to do the whole thing. And apparently this movie here doesn't really talk about the whole thing, doesn't really get into his presidential years at all, which is where most people are going to want to see. I mean, why do a movie about Richard Nixon if you're not going to bring up Watergate and all the shit that he did, right? Nobody's going to want to know anything about Trump, okay, that he did before he was president, because what he did before that doesn't really impact the country as a whole. His stupid show didn't impact me, didn't impact you, okay? But being president of this country certainly did. And really, the only point of that, of doing any biopic about Trump, is really to talk about that as president. Unfortunately, yeah, he became a president in this country, and you know, as sad as that is, we certainly learned a lot about the man, more than we thought we knew about him. We certainly saw the worst sides of this guy while he was president. And you know, I'm thinking, look, if you're going to do, you know, like a movie about this guy, you have to. It's got to be about that. We already know what he was before president. We don't need to see a movie about that shit. Okay, you want to talk about his womanizing and stuff? Well, that's that's a Lifetime movie, okay, you know, that you can make. But, you know, about the rest of it, the things that he did to try to subvert democracy in this country, to try to overturn Roe versus Wade, which he claims personal responsibility for, which he's only half right, okay? It took the judges that he appointed on the Supreme Court to get them to back what he wanted to do, but at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, he was partly responsible for that. But, you know, nothing that he ever promised he was going to do when he ran for president ever came to fruition. He didn't build that wall that he wanted to build, okay? He didn't make any trade deals, you know, that benefited our country at all. He, you know, he made it easier, he cut the taxes back, you know, for the rich, you know. But, you know, what the fuck else did he do? Nothing. Played golf, you know. And then when COVID came around, that really put the test on him, and he failed. You know, COVID was too much. Maybe it wouldn't have been too much for any other president, but for him, it required that he had to exercise, you know, any compassion that he might have had for people in this country, which we found out he doesn't have. He doesn't care about any of us. So he didn't care about, you know, what the CDC was recommending people do, because, hey, that was going to hurt the rich people in this country, because all their employees, you know, they're going to have to they're going to go to work and get sick and die. But, you know, he wasn't for people protecting themselves by not going to work or wearing masks. And no, he wasn't going to have it, you know. And, you know, it just, he was a puzzle, a nightmare to have as a leader in our country during that time. It made it worse. It made the COVID experience a whole lot worse, where the local governors, the state governors, had to basically pick up the tab for him because he couldn't do anything. You know, it fell on, you know, our main governor here to make sure that, you know, money were sent out to help people survive, you know, because people had lost their jobs or quit their jobs or something because of, you know, trying to stay safe. And people were getting sick, and they were having a hard time paying their rents, paying their bills, paying whatever, you know. They needed help. So even though the federal government came in late in the game to try to help, it was up to the governors really to do something about it. And some governors failed on that as well. So, you know, there's a whole lot there to talk about when it's President Trump, then President Trump. You want to do a movie about that. That would be more impactful, because that would explain to people just why it is the Democrats hated this fucker so much. Okay. Of course, you know, when the movie Nixon had come out, I remember Rush Limbaugh was so fucking pissed about it, you know, and about what Oliver Stone had put together, you know, and then they just called it a hit job, you know, even though everything in that fucking movie was based on a book that was written by somebody else that had got their information from different witnesses, you know, and sources and stuff like that, and compiled it, which Oliver Stone, you know, made into a movie. You know, you can't deny people see these things. Okay, you may not like what they see, but they see it. You know, I mean, it's like somebody recording a plane crash, and then the people getting mad at the people that videotaped it, saying, "Oh, you're making this plane company look bad." It happened. Okay. Take what you want away from it, but it happened. It was a tragedy. You can't erase it. You can't rewrite history. It happened, you know, and that's why, you know, that's what the, you know, right wing is bitching about this film now, even though it hasn't really touched anything on the presidency of his time. Okay, they're already pissed off at it. They're afraid of anything negative coming out about Trump. Okay, especially right now, this year. That movie coming out now, but they're going to try to stop that movie from getting played in the United States, of course. And, you know, once it's on the internet, I mean, you know, when you stream especially, these movies come up, you can't stop it. It's there, you know. You can't stop it. People are going to see that film over here, and there's really nothing they can do to stop it. I mean, like I just told you a few times already about the Nixon film, okay? They tried to stop that, or at least smear it through the mud, but it didn't stop it. It came out, people saw it. You can't stop these things, these companies. You're going to sue all of Hollywood, for Christ's sake? I mean, I hope you got a lot of lawyers, because they certainly do, you know, and I can tell you who's going to win that fight, okay? But I'll tell you, you know, it's sad that, you know, people still want to keep their heads buried in the sand like a damn ostrich. You know, they want to keep their head buried in the sand. And regardless of how people feel about Trump or anything like that, the truth should be the precedent thing here that's being said. Now, I don't know, like I said, I didn't see this movie, so I don't know if they exaggerated certain parts of the truth. I don't know, okay? Like I said, I can't speak to that. All I know is what I'm talking about, the reaction already from the movie itself, and how, you know, people are already afraid of Americans seeing this thing, okay? Which only is only going to make people want to see it more. Seeing how one side is all against it, it's only going to encourage people to want to go see it, which I think will be a waste of your time, if you ask me, if it isn't going to talk at all about his presidency, which is what people really want to see. Okay, and that movie will come out eventually, but it won't be right now. It'll be after, you know what I'm saying, after the fact, after Trump's probably dead and buried, or when that'll happen. But we won't see that story. And when it comes out, you know, some people will still bitch and complain about it. But like what happened when Nixon, that film come out, people really don't say much about Nixon anymore now, because he's yesterday's news. So until Trump becomes yesterday's news, okay, you know, people are really not going to be, you know, interested, or at least people, you know, the Trump supporters aren't going to be interested in seeing any movies made about him until the interest in him has died down, and it will. These people might be cultists right now for Trump, but they're, you know, they're, how could I say, they're not going to be loyal forever. There'll be another Republican that'll come down the pike, or another Trump-like idiot, and they'll be all loyal to them, and Trump will just be a bad memory for them, and they won't care at all about Trump anymore. You know, they'll still be loyalists, but they'll be even fewer than there are now. So anyway, that's it for today. So I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. So please subscribe, comment, and share the videos if you want others to see it. And you know, keep your ears open for any health issues in your neighborhood, and you know, treat each other nice. Be kind to others out there, and again, avoid conversations that have to do with politics and religion, because that's going to guarantee a fight. Okay. Your opinions at the end of the day are just that to other people. They don't really matter much, you know, but they're important to you, and so they should stay with you, you know. So take care, everybody. Bye-bye.